My mom had me at 17, I want to say, so really young, you know? So having a baby when you're still in high school,
wow.
It's safe to say she had a lot of like figuring out to do. So times were definitely tough here and there. At one point, my family was homeless. You know, one of the things that I really aimed to do was break the family curse. You know, I don't want to say that they never accomplished anything because everybody's goals and accomplishments are different, right? I don't think anybody really ever went for a dream. I really just wanted to prove to the next, you know, generation of my family that if Uncle Jeff can do this, well, then I can too. Okay. My message to the world, and this is probably the easiest answer from today, it's cool to be you. I hope that gives them encouragement, you know, to chase after whatever dream they're after, or get into whatever hobby they're afraid people are going to tease them for, or listen to that song that people make fun of. I just want people to know that you're unique in your own way, and your coolness, it doesn't depend on what anybody else thinks. It's cool to be you, and it's cool.
You just picked up 2 tickets for Billie Eilish this November at Ball Arena.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, just to prove to me you were really listening, what were the 2 Billie tracks that I played back to back?
That guy and
We performed Getting Jiggy with it.
Oh my gosh, we did. Oh my God.
I still have the footage.
Oh my God.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of C-Rod's Tell Me a Story podcast. I'm your host, C-Rod. Let me tell you a story. Today's story revolves around the desire to want to break generational patterns and set a positive example for younger generations by demonstrating that anything is possible. While it is common for children to follow in their parents' footsteps as they grow up, breaking away from negative influence is crucial. Instead of simply continuing a family tradition like when sons become farmers or following a parent's profession, imagine choosing a different path if your father was a troubled individual, such as a drug addict who caused turmoil in your family. Breaking such cycles can be challenging, but are essential for personal growth and a fresh start for the family. Despite the difficulty of breaking generational patterns, it is possible for someone to enact change and create a new legacy for the younger generations. I remember growing up and being so proud of my sister and my cousin as they were the first in my family to receive high school diplomas. Such achievements set an example for the younger generations. This is the premise for today's protagonist. Hailing from humble beginnings in Portland, Maine, he faced his own challenges growing up. Dealing with parental struggles and personal hurdles like a speech impediment that led to bullying in school, he found solace in writing rhymes and rapping. This creative outlet not only helped him overcome his stutter, but also fueled his passion for the art. As he dove deeper in pursuing his passion for music, an ideal began to shape inside him. He would become a DJ and blend his music in between the more popular artists of the time, forcing people to listen to his music. This endeavor opened doors and led him to opportunities which landed him in Nashville, Tennessee. In Nashville, he remained focused on his goals, working tirelessly and seizing every opportunity that came his way. His dedication paid off, and he found himself at iHeartRadio, broadcasting to the residents of the Mile High City, where many listened to him on their commute home from work. Through hard work, perseverance, and an authentic personality, he carved out a successful career that now serves as inspiration for his family and friends back home. His story is a testament to the belief that anything is possible with determination and a genuine spirit. It is with my pleasure that I introduce today's featured guest, your fave DJ J R. All right, back at you with another episode of C-Rod's Tell Me Your Story podcast. I'm your host, C-Rod, and I'm with you with my guest today, J R.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. This is super cool to be here. Look at this place.
Do you really like it?
Yeah, dude. This is like just like everything I would ever want as a kid.
Right?
Yeah, it's dope, dude. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming. JR is a local radio, is it called a radio disc jockey? Or
Radio personality, radio host,
personality.
radio jock. It's,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, he comes out on 95.7, so you probably recognize his voice if you're local around here. And I know a lot of the, when I worked construction, I used to always play the radio.
Yeah?
So I knew all the radio personalities.
I love that.
So I'm pretty sure, like, there's guys laying drywall in a house that would hear your voice and
Well,
recognize
shout
you.
out to them right now. I love that. Yeah, I host the afternoon show, which is 3 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Oh, for sure
weekdays.
then. Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
prime time drive time, baby.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
the way home.
Yep.
One time I was driving through Houston,
Yeah.
me and my mother, and there were people calling in on the radio. We were in a traffic jam, and this lady just calls in, just cursing about the traffic. And I turned over, and she was next to us.
No. You can see her just.
Yeah, I could see her going. "Ah, ah, ah." My mom was like, "Hey, she's next to us."
That's hilarious, dude.
But glad to have y'all back for episode 22. Remember, I always hate to say this, but it's part of the game. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, all that good stuff, because it really helps the channel. Here at C Rod's Tell Me Your Story podcast, you know why we're here. You know the name of the game. This is a platform for the people. This is the people's platform. This is a community where we can connect with each other, share our life experiences, and realize that we're not all that different. So with that being said, why don't we just jump right into it?
Let's do it, buddy.
Where are you from, my brother?
I'm originally from a small town called Portland, Maine. Far East Coast, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Portland, Maine, born and raised.
At least it isn't the other Portland.
No, yeah, which I hear a lot of wild things about lately. And the funny thing about that is moving away from my hometown, you would tell people you're from Portland. Immediately, they always thought you were from Oregon. I was like, no. I'm from Portland, Maine, the way life should be. Right? That's what it actually says when you drive in.
Does it really?
Yeah.
So, man, you might be the first person I ever met from Maine.
Really? Let's go, dude.
That's way up there. And there's not a lot of people in Maine, is there?
No, Maine's small, man. You know, I come from what we would call the city, per se, right? Southern Maine, Portland, Maine. But once you get kind of to like central, northern Maine, it's like, it's you and moose, man. Like you can throw a rock into Canada. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
And it's probably really harsh weather. I've never been
Oh,
up
the
there.
winters are rough, bro.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man. Let's see. So I moved out. I left Maine. I want to say like, golly, man, what has it been? Like 6-7 years maybe? And so up until that point, it was shoveling your way out of your house, down the stairs, around the car, out the
Jesus.
yeah, dude. Like the winters get pretty rough there.
The winters in Colorado aren't bad at all.
No, because the next day,
It's gone.
yeah, you're driving to work in a pool.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like like I told you, I retired. Sometimes I do delivery routes. I was doing one the other day and it was raining and they got a lot of dirt roads over here. And sometimes I can be a little bit lead-footed, start fishtailing it a little bit. I was
look
like,
out.
oh shit, I better slow down. I'm about to lose it off the road.
Yep.
So growing up in Maine, well, let me ask you this. What are your parents like?
Man, you know, gosh, my mom had me at 17, I want to say, so really young, you know. I couldn't even imagine having a child now I'm going to be 38 in July, right? It would be terrifying. So having a baby when you're still in high school,
Wow.
it's safe to say she had a lot of like figuring out to do, you know. So times were definitely tough here and there. At one point, my family was homeless. Come from very humble start, right? My dad has his own problems, addiction stuff, different things like that, and it gets to the point where you can't make somebody get help, right? They have to want to. Yeah. So it's kind of always been a pretty rocky situation with my dad. But I like to say that I get a lot of my charm and my wit and my comedy from him. But yeah, just both you know, average folks, Yeah, loving parents though, for sure. You know,
Were they together or did they end up separating?
dude, it was pretty tumultuous. It was on again, off again, on again. And then I remember at one point randomly, I think I'm in like 6th grade or so, they get married. I was like, this is never gonna. Well, you guys hate
Just
each
randomly.
other. Yeah, like like this will fix everything. You know?
Did you even know at that young age like this?
Yeah.
This is BS. It's
Yeah, this isn't good.
Wow.
Yep. Wow. So it was pretty tough, you know, but I think that's why I was so eager to get away from all that. And really, you know, one of the things that I really aimed to do was break the family curse per se. You know, nobody in my family really, you know, I don't want to say that they never accomplished anything because everybody's goals and accomplishments are different, right? But I don't think anybody really ever went for a dream and like stepped outside of their comfort zone and left their whole world behind to move to a whole new city and state and then to do that twice, you know? It's I really just wanted to prove to the next, you know, generation of my family that if Uncle Jeff can do this, well then I can too.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in those like so I kind of grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
Some of those people don't even never leave.
Never.
Never. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I'm gonna make a little documentary for him. But you know, I say, "Hey, where you at?" He says, "Oh, I'm in the same place." And I was like, "Bro, you gotta get out of there."
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, when I left last time, I got arrested or something. I'm never gonna leave." I was like, "This place." But do you have siblings?
I have a sister, Alicia. Yeah.
Oh.
Younger
Older,
than me.
younger?
Younger. She's got 2 kids. She just had a second baby girl. So congrats to Alicia for that.
Do you have big brother syndrome growing up? Mess with my little sister.
Man, she was pretty well protected, that's for sure. Not just from me, but from my whole like goon squad that I kind of ran with. You know?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So basically, just through the friendships I had from my high school wrestling team, it was like she had like 4 or 5 different big brothers per se. So,
wow, you wrestled?
Yeah, in high school.
Nice. You avoided the cauliflower ear.
I did, yeah. I always made sure always to wear the headgear, you know? And yeah, she had like 5 different big brothers and things got pretty hectic sometimes and you know, but you can only protect somebody for so long. And honestly, part of that was probably us just trying to look for trouble, you know, being teenagers.
So is Portland like 20, 30,000?
Gosh, no. Portland's like, what is it? Portland's like a city of like, I want to say 70, 80K.
Oh, that's a good sized place.
Right. Well, then imagine my culture shock moving from Maine to Nashville, Tennessee, and it's a city of 3 million.
I used to live in Nashville.
Did you?
Where did you move to? What
Gosh, I lived in, I worked right over by Berry Hill, Nashville. Yeah. And, I did radio there 4 years before iHeart came calling, and I moved out here to Colorado.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you like Nashville?
You know, man, I wish that I had enjoyed it more while I was there. I was such in that mindset, and I don't know if you've ever been here, where you could be in a whole brand new place that you really want to explore, but you're so focused on your job and you're so focused on advancing your career that you only have one lane, and that's just full speed ahead, work nonstop. You know, I never stopped to like, wow, this is pretty cool here. Hey, I've made some pals here. Hey, let's go have some fun. It was just nonstop work. So I kind of regret that, and I don't at the same time, because it really did help me get to ultimately where I wanted to be, and that's working for the biggest media company in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like when you're focused like that, it just blinders on. Mm-hmm. That's how I spent my last like 10 years of my life, just blinders on, put all my other goals and dreams aside for certain goals. And that shit just, sometimes it's not healthy for you.
No.
Sometimes you got to slow down.
Yep.
And you got to realize what's around you. I've missed so much stuff.
Yeah.
So much stuff. Oh my God. So much stuff. Sleep.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. You're not kidding.
Yeah. 17-hour days, crazy stuff like that. And, but when you drive and you focus and you're hungry for it, You gotta get it.
Well, that's the thing, man. And there's no time like right now. It's like, this
sure.
opportunity isn't going to just make itself. Like, I have to do this. I have to be the one, to really make this happen.
Nothing's given to you, right?
Never, bro. Never.
That's that small town mentality,
No, it very well could be. It's a different kind of cat up there, man.
Yeah,
it is. It's
it is.
like thick skin. It's, I feel like, us New Englanders might even be like a little bit tougher than just your average person, just because of the conditions that we live in most of the year.
Oh,
it's just like uncomfortable, bro. Like, I'm gonna go back to Maine, probably here in July, but it's like I'm not gonna go visit in the middle of like December, January. Like, no, man, I dealt with that too much. I don't need to be tough no more.
How much summer do y'all get over there?
Summer's gorgeous though.
I bet.
Oh my goodness, man, with the water, the ocean and everything. I said we get like a solid, beautiful, like 3 months of like summer.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah. You can go down to the beach and in Maine, man, like I remember the first time I ever had lobster, which is like the main thing to do, right? My buddy, his father had a house right on the water and the neighbors had a lobster trap. So you'd walk over to their trap and you would take out your lobsters and toss the cash in their bin, bring them into the house and boil them.
Wow.
I was like, it doesn't get any more fresh than that.
That's as fresh as it gets.
So that's one of the things people often ask me about. Hey, how was the lobster? I'd love to go to Maine. How's the lobster? I'm like, it's always good,
So Portland's on the bay?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
What was high school like over there for you? What was school like?
High school. I hated that school, man. I did. Cause I was kind of a punk, but it was just, it wasn't that I'm not smart. It's that like, I never really wanted to apply myself in school. I was already into girls, of course. I was already into writing rhymes and trying to do that whole thing and be a rapper. And that was like the most important part of my life at that time. And then, of course, the Westbrook High School wrestling team, which is where I've made some of the best friends that I still have to this day. But high school was pretty tough, man. I would get picked on a lot. I'd get jumped. It was pretty rocky waters for a while in there. But, the truth of it is I probably brought some of it onto myself, because I wasn't afraid to run my mouth to anybody, Yeah. So... But, suddenly you sprout up to like 6'3", and some of that kind of does stop.
Yeah, you're a big guy. I'm pretty sure not a lot of people are running up on you anymore.
Thankfully, because dude, I don't want to fight. Like, I'm too old for that shit now. Let it go. I just had surgery on my back. So it's like, if somebody did come at me, I don't know that I could like fend them off right now,
So why did you get picked on?
I think because of the way that I dressed, I was very hip hop. I was very like, Reeboks with the jersey and the matching hats and the wristbands. And just think of that like early 2000s hip hop fashion, right? I'm listening to 50 and Fat Joe and Ja Rule and Jadakiss. And
are you like in a country environment? Like
not country.
Wranglers and boots?
Yeah, no, not country environment. More of like, I want to say like a preppy. Environment where everybody's trying to be something and I'm just trying to like figure it out.
Yeah.
So it was,
yourself.
It was very opposite of how everybody else kind of went about their stuff. So, let's poke fun at this kid. He thinks he's this, he thinks he's that.
He's dressing like he's black.
No, always.
Why can't I just be me?
Right. Yeah, man. And again, it's what you're influenced by, especially at that young age. It's what you're hearing every day on the air and you're in the car and with your iPod, your classic one. Like it's just all that stuff. Especially at that age, it's so influential and it really molds you into who you ultimately become.
Yeah, hip hop it passes cultures and generations and all that stuff. But, I can remember Sugar Hill Gang, me telling my uncles and they're like, this shit sounds old. Like, check out this Pac.
Yeah, no.
But It's crazy though, because if you could probably remember, we're kind of close to age. Though, when I was growing up, and my parents would listen to their music like Temptations and stuff like that, it would sound completely different to what I was listening to growing up. You know,
like almost foreign.
Yeah, like what the heck? Like you would know, like, oh man, that's old music.
Yeah.
But nowadays, if I pay my music to my daughter's music, almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Almost identical. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. And let me ask you this. Do you now have like a different affection for your parents' stuff?
Yeah.
Their songs?
I do. I
wow,
like it.
these actually are really good, right?
Yeah.
You know, like,
so
like
true.
Same thing. My mom, she loved Kiss. And I was like, I just don't get it. I just don't understand it, right? And now that I've gotten older, I'm like, this shit is like slapping, dude.
Why
Like,
is
what?
that? Age?
I think so. I think when you're that age, when you're a teenager, only what you like is cool. Everything else is lame, right? And it's like randomly, as I got older and I got into DJing, suddenly I loved 90s house music. Now again, back when I was a little boy, I couldn't tell you any 90s house song.
Yeah.
But I think as I got older, I'm like, wow, this is so good. Like this arrangements and the notes and the singing and the style.
Yeah.
And it's
you
just,
recognize more.
yeah, absolutely. It's cool.
Yeah, it is. So we talked a little bit about it earlier. Tell me about your stutter.
Man, it was, I used to get teased about it quite a bit. And fortunately, it wasn't as bad as some people, right? Like you've probably seen, what is it? Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Where he's in the classroom, he's like, today, Junior, and everybody starts laughing. It was never that bad. It was more so my friends would finish my sentences for me. And some of them still do, and it pisses me off, right? Because sometimes my mind can think faster than my mouth can move. So I used to often get teased about that. It wasn't until I got much older where I started to write and record music. And there was something about the cadence and the rhythm of the beat that would keep me in time, and my stutter would just disappear. And then getting into broadcasting, the same thing would happen because I'm talking up songs, right? Up these ramps, and it helps just keep me in time. And I know when to stop on the one, right? Because the lyrics begin.
Wow.
So doing something like this with you, or even like I do with my best pal, Dave, just open format talking, it was like nerve wracking at first, bro. Because I'm like, I'm going to stutter all over the place, and this is going to be brutal.
Yeah.
But once you kind of learn to like just relax, you know, and then you can deliver what you want to say. If you listen closely, you'll probably hear me do it, or you'll hear me slow down all of a sudden, so I can then like not embarrass myself, basically. But yeah.
That's pretty cool though. And it's, how old are you start writing rhymes?
Oh man, I want to say like my first rhymes, bro. Golly, what age was I? I was real young. I want to say like some of the first rhymes I wrote, I was probably like 11, 12 years old. And then it didn't become like I want to be a rapper until I was like 15. And I formed this group with my pals. We were called the Roster.
Oh.
And here's the kicker. It's a group that I named that I eventually got kicked out of my own group.
They kicked you out?
They kicked me out, bro, because at like that age, I found my first ever girlfriend.
Oh, no.
And everything flipped, obviously. Your first love, your first crush, whatever.
Yeah.
I ended up getting kicked out of my own group, bro.
You're spending too much time with her.
No, for real. You're not taking this seriously, bro. It's like, we're 16. Stop. You know what I mean? Thinking about it now. But ultimately, that was the best thing that could have happened to me, because it really forced me to try to make myself stand out rather than, you know, being a part of a group, you know?
Yeah.
And I was real envious of the success that they were having locally. And fortunately, just through like working hard and really trying to master your craft, you know, I was able to get really popular in my hometown, which opened up a lot of different doors for me just through my music.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And again, it's small town Maine, so it's not like I was some big deal in like Texas.
I was blowed up in Maine.
I was blown up in P-Town, baby. Look out. We here, you know?
You mentioned growing up through some hardships and stuff like that. So what did your parents, they separated a lot. What did they do for a living? Did they work?
Yeah, you know, my dad, to this day, he's still a carpenter. You know, he kind of just does, he'll do drywall, he'll do roofs, he does floors, and he's super handy, and he's such a smart man. Such a smart man. He just has addiction issues. My mom, I don't know if I necessarily ever remember like a particular career path for her. More of it was like, you know, I think she had like a cleaning service at one point when I was young with her, like her and a friend. And then she would work at like sandwich shops and stuff. So never like, this is going to be my career. It's more like, I got to provide for my kids.
Yeah.
You know? So mom and dad were just off and on all the time. And I don't want to get too deep here on your show, but I just remember, and I've even written about this in a song that I released called Father's Eyes. It takes all I have inside to look in my father's eyes, right? And I would talk about coming home from school to my parents just having a fist fight. And my little sister's in the corner and she's crying, you know? Yeah. And thinking about it now messes me up, you know? And it's stuff that even if you don't necessarily remember it, it is like baggage. You're carrying that around forever, you know? And I think you really have to learn how to not blame them for that, because as messed up as it is, and as much as I wish they had it together, it really helped morph me into the man that I am today, you know? So again, there's a lot of good qualities that I take from both of my parents, but fortunately there's a lot of bad ones that I don't take with me along this journey we call life.
Yeah. Well, you came out like you got a good head on your shoulders.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
You're a grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed. I was like, this dude, he's a grinder.
I try to be. you know? I think I'm afraid of complacency. I'm afraid of, oh, well, I've made it as far as I guess I'm gonna get. You know, like, because then you start to just like settle. And I think I want to do that when I'm much older.
Yeah. Do you ever think about legacy?
Man, you know, legacy, that's a tough question. I think in a sense I do. I think in the sense of, you know, for example, my sister has 2 kids. I think in the sense of just trying to show them that, well, Uncle Jeff, he was able to, oh my gosh, look at all the things that he was able to do and all the fun things he was able to, you know, I want them to be able to see that and know that they can. You know, because I feel like, and I'm sure there's some people listening to this right now that can relate. It seems like your family only has ever gotten so far. And then if you don't remove yourself from that environment, you're kind of just going to become a product of your environment, right? And in the sense of legacy, I just want to be looked at as making it, you know, look okay and feasible for my nephew and my niece and whoever's next to go out and actually go for what they want to do. I want to be kind of like that bridge. Like if he did it, there's no reason that I can't.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. I have 2 replies.
Yeah.
The first thing is, so one of the reasons I retired is
you seem kind of young to have retired already.
Well, I'm in my 40s. Yeah. But one of the reasons that I did is because pushing yourself really hard could cause health issues, and it caused a lot of health issues for myself, my chest and my heart, and not to get into it, but it caused me health issues.
Wow.
So when I was looking at fixing these, I would be laying in my bed at night, and I started thinking about like, what's that movie? Is it Achilles, where she tells him, the Trojan, she tells him you can go to war and die and be remembered forever.
Yep.
Or you could be forgotten.
Yeah.
I started thinking about that in my head. I was like, damn, when I die, I want to be forgotten.
No,
I don't want to be
Yeah.
forgotten. Like, I want my kids to remember me, but
Yeah.
then my grandkids, eventually I'm going to be forgotten.
yeah,
And I started thinking, damn, I need to leave some kind of legacy out here. Like, you know, that's why one of the reasons I started the podcast, I was like, I got to leave something behind. I got to leave something behind.
I hear that, man. Like, one of the things that I learned from my best friend Dave was like, document everything.
Yeah.
So almost my entire career, right, has just been, like, every day I film something. And even if it doesn't live online, it lives on these drives that I have. I'm sure you have a bunch,
Yeah.
you know, just full of shows and stuff,
Yeah.
you know? And think in 20 years or even after you're gone, all of this stuff, even as weird as it might sound, this conversation we're having right now is going to live on the internet. And your kids and their kids and their kids are going to be able to watch it and say, damn, he was good at what he did.
Yeah. That's
Right? How cool does that feel, bro?
That's crazy, right?
Right? Man, that's wild.
But I think about the internet all the time too. It makes me think about how lazy kids are sometimes. I know I'm like one of them gropey old man.
Yeah. Yelling
Like-
at the clouds.
Yeah, like because then I'm like, because for example, the podcast, I've done running business. I didn't know what a Sony camera was, what a
Right.
mic was, like nothing. So I just was like, man, how am I gonna do this? I started typing. I was like, oh shit, you just type in the internet
Yep.
and it's right there.
YouTube. You
It's
can
right-
learn everything.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is wrong with these damn
Yep.
kids? Like, y'all
Yep.
should be freaking out of control. We should have flying cars already.
I know. But it's a generation now that would rather have Jordans on their player in 2K than on their actual feet.
Yeah.
And that boggles
Wow.
my friggin' mind, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, like the first time I see my kids watching other people play games.
Yeah.
So I'm coming in the room and I'm like, what are you doing? Watching Minecraft? Why don't you play
Why don't you
Minecraft?
play? No, I like so weird.
Or like I can remember, I want to say it was my nephew. When it was a while back, but they were like, hey, let's go play basketball. And I'd go throw on some shorts.
Yeah.
And this fool goes, sits down in the living room on the PlayStation.
Oh no. You're like, oh, that kind of basketball. Yeah, what'd you think I was talking about? I thought we were gonna
I thought we were gonna go play basketball.
yeah, like hoop it up, kid. What are we doing? That's so funny, man.
Yeah. So how did you transition from rap to radio?
Man, it was an interesting one. And it's so let's put a timestamp on it to kind of help paint this for you. It's about, I want to say 2011, 2012, right? And I'm releasing music and I'm doing shows in my hometown and like people are coming to see me. It feels pretty cool. I got this whole, and maybe I can get you some clips that you can use for B-roll, but I had this gimmick and my movement was called Flip Shades and Nikes. And everybody that came to my show would get a free pair of Flip Shades. So like the visual was amazing, right? But I got to a point where I couldn't get every DJ in my town to spin my stuff at the bars and at the clubs. So I was like, fuck them, dude. I'm going to become the best DJ in my town. And you mentioning YouTube sparked this in my mind because I spent months in my basement after buying my gear, learning how to beat match, learning how to mix. And I learned all of that on YouTube. Because no DJs in my area wanted to teach you anything. They were all gatekeepers for the most part.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, which I feel is like a generational thing. I feel like nowadays nobody really gatekeeps anything, or at least that I've experienced. It's always like older heads, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to become the best DJ I can. So I start playing bars and clubs and sandwiching my songs in between whatever's popping at that time, right? Whether it's like Britney or Flo Rida or Kesha or Pitbull, so people have to hear my stuff.
Yeah. You
right.
just mix it in.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool.
It was working too.
Yeah, and it actually opened up a lot of doors for me to the point where there was our resident mix show host on my hometown station, Q97.9. His name was DJ Verbatim, was stepping down, and they needed another DJ to take his spot. So everybody sent in their tapes, right? And I got picked.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I get to DJ on the radio for 30 minutes, 5 days a week for free. Go me, right? But at that time, I didn't care because my name was on the radio and it was the coolest feeling in the world. And it's my hometown station that I've listened to my whole life. And slowly that kind of turned into, well, how would you like to co-host the night show? Well, just so you know, I never went to school for this stuff. They're like, it doesn't matter. We can tell you kind of have an apt for it, right? Okay. And bro, I'll tell you, some of my first shows were rough, really bad, because I think a lot of us, and maybe you experienced this when you first began your show, you try to be what you think you're supposed to be rather than just being you. At least that's how it was for me.
You want to try to get the views.
Yeah. So I was imitating what I thought like the radio jock was. It was rough. It wasn't until I like really settled in and found my voice years later. But ultimately, that's how I got my foot in the door.
It took years to perfect.
It took a while.
Oh.
Yeah.
So people probably think they could just, I could do that.
Oh, yeah.
I could go into the DJ, it'd be his job.
Yeah. I've had a girl tell me, and I want to tell this to the camera. She's like, JR, your job's easy. You just talk enthusiastically for a living.
It's a lot harder than that.
Yeah.
It's so much
and I was
harder.
like, girl, I wish it was that simple.
So tell us, what is a typical day for you as a radio personality?
Man, it's one of those worlds where you kind of never, you know what you're going to get into, but you never know what kind of show you're going to end up having, right? Yeah, I'll have different endorsements and things that I have to cut for audio, video. It's basically think of like a social media influencer's life and then put a microphone in the mix of all of that. So it's like not only do I have to make all of my own content for myself, but also for the station as well. But I also have to cut endorsements. I also have to do the actual on-air shift. I have to execute giveaways. Like this past week, we did this pretty fun promotion called Back to Back Billie Eilish. So anytime you heard two of her tracks back to back, you would be caller 9 and you would win to be able to go to the show. Oh, okay. So the tease was, well, when am I going to do it? Sometimes I would spin one and be like, not this time. Keep listening. You know what I mean?
Keep listening.
Yeah. And make it like a fun thing. And people were like really into it. And on top of that, I'm in there recording social content of the breaks that you hear on the radio. So it's like while I'm doing the show, I'm also filming myself like we're doing now.
Yeah, I seen a clip you doing that.
Yeah. And I love that stuff, man. I love that stuff. I love that. I kind of know what it's going to be like, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to make that day. And having the mind that I do, just being able to create stuff every day of the week, whether it's inside those four walls at work or even coming here to talk with you. I was like, we're going to make something cool. I can feel it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, we always make something cool in here.
No, you're not kidding. Yeah, man.
No, do you stand up all day? Every reel I've seen, you've been standing.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I try to like change it. Yeah. I think when you watch, often the reels are standing up because visually it looks better on camera. Right. And there's a lot of things in that room that I've changed because it'll look better visually on camera. Right. Like as far as like a big bulky flag for your mic, which is going to block your face. No, those have to go, guys. Yeah, those have to go. We got to change that. Yeah. Or as like the lights. I actually stood up on the desk and I changed the lights in the room myself one day, and then as far as like, I finally convinced them to wrap the room. I was like, no, this has to look a certain way, guys. It has to,
Yeah, for the content.
And then they wrap, So it's like a lot of that stuff is strategic. But for the most part, during my live shift, I'm up and down, up and down. Yeah. It's kind of however the break feels.
Yeah, it's probably a silly question, but I was just like, does he stand up all day? Like,
no, it's actually common, man. There are jocks that only sit down. Oh. And then there's ones that only stand up. Like I learned from my mentor, Rob Steele, and he stood up every single break the whole time. You know, and when I'm doing my shift, I'm here live on the air. And then once that break's done, I'm spinning around to the other side of the desk and I'm cutting together this reel that I just made. And then I'm back and I'm forth and I'm back and I'm forth.
Yeah, because song's only 3 or 4 minutes.
Right.
And then you have to come back in, right?
Yep. So I probably have like, I don't know, on average, maybe 6 breaks an hour, you know? And man, I don't want to get too deep in the weeds, but radio is so fascinating to me because if you think about what it is at its like lowest common denominator, like we're selling air. Like you have access to anything that I play in your pocket right now. But my job as a professional is to convince you to listen to it with me. And I feel like I do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, it's probably a lot harder nowadays than what there was before internet.
Oh yeah, it's you know, so we have our FM signal, which is 100,000 watts. It's massive, right? But is it massive compared to the internet? Well, no. But you can also hear me on the iHeart app, which is worldwide.
Yeah,
like anywhere. Like my mom back home sometimes will catch my show. You know, so not only I'm on the air for hits 6 days a week, I'm also doing a country air shift on our sister station,
Oh, wow.
106.7 The Bull, Sunday nights.
wow.
And then I also patch into Baltimore Saturdays and do a show there. So
What's that like? Do you like say, hey, Baltimore?
yeah, it's like I'm there and I'm plugged into their town. And it's with the same gear that you have here. I just get special access to their actual system.
You don't have to deal with all their crime.
Right. Well, hey, whatever, you know, it's so fascinating, bro, because I remember about a year ago, COVID finally got me. And I know that's a word that we don't like to say, like it never happened. Right. But it finally got me after like a while. And aside from not being able to talk for a day, I was able to do my show from home the entire week and nobody had any idea
That you had COVID.
Yep.
Wow. Some
It's
people got
amazing.
sick. Some people didn't do anything.
Yeah.
too. Like my mom, she got COVID and she's older. So I was like,
Worried.
yeah. She's like, fine, mijo.
Yeah,
Nothing's
whatever.
wrong with me. I
Yeah,
was
whatever.
like, okay.
Damn. Okay.
And then my dad got COVID and he was like, I'm coming to Jesus.
Oh no. I feel like us guys, when we get sick, bro,
That's so
we're
true.
done. Yeah, we're done. Where's mom?
Oh, I get sick. I'm like, babe, rub my legs.
Yeah, they hurt.
I'm tired.
I'm gonna lose them.
Yeah.
That's funny, dude.
So, you also, something that I was going to ask you about is your collection.
Yeah, man.
So you like collectibles, huh?
Yeah, it's something that I actually got into in March. I want to say March of 2023, last year.
Stop
And-
wasting your money on stupid shit.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty silly,
I
right?
do it all the time.
Yeah, I had this one reel that recently just went viral for me, and I'm sure you've seen the girl on Instagram where she says, "Do you want to know why he's not texting you right now?"
Oh, yeah.
And then I cut to me with the toys. Guys, you're not going to believe it. I got the new Stone Cold Steve Austin. And
What's
this
your
is-
favorite wrestling era?
That's a tough one, bro. Well, my all-time guy is Hogan. He has his own shelf, right? I got him on the shirt today.
Yeah.
NWO for life. But I'd say just because of my age, I'm probably most nostalgic for the Attitude Era with your Stone Cold and your Rock and your Undertaker and your Kurt Angle and Triple H and those guys.
That was a good era of wrestling.
It was wild, bro. It just goes to show you earlier, we talked about what kind of like parents I had, and they probably should have been monitoring that stuff a little bit better, because 13-year-old me like telling people to suck it. It's like, Jeffrey, maybe not, you know?
People used to always do that.
The
shit.
crotch chop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I can remember doing that. Hey, doing it to each other.
Oh,
at school.
getting sent to the office.
Yeah. Maybe we shouldn't have been watching that, right?
No, dude, no. It was the Wild West. Like anything went.
Yeah. So I was a little bit older. I did watch wrestling, but I kind of stopped watching it as I got into teenagers.
Yeah.
Started running the streets. When I would watch it, it was like the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Ultimate Warrior pressing Hulk Hogan
Yep.
and throwing them. Remember that?
WrestleMania 6.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Damn,
Yeah.
there you go.
I got those toys of them from that match. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can remember that. I can remember Andre the Giant. I always loved the photo of him holding a beer can.
Oh, man.
Dude, how massive is
It
that?
looks like a Listerine shot.
Dude, how massive.
Yeah.
Imagine getting punched by one of those canned hams.
Oh,
Like,
man.
So
Yeah.
people with hands like that, they don't have to hit hard.
No.
They just fucking touch you
Yep.
with it.
Done.
My face.
Yeah.
So I used to, you talked about wrestling. I hated wrestling when I was, because I don't know if you saw, but I was a martial artist for a long time.
Oh, no, that's cool.
And whenever I'd have wrestling practice, I'd be like, it's Wednesday, you know?
Yeah.
How good were you in wrestling?
Very average.
Very average?
Very average.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't very great. I wasn't bad either. I think it was more of like, I liked wrestling because it was a team sport, but it was only you on the mat.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and in my high school at the time, if your dad didn't help, it wasn't like a booster, you didn't get to play. And of course, my family was not.
Yeah.
You know, I got to play one play in freshman football, and I picked off the ball and won the game, and I never got to play again.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm like, football's out. Wrestling, let's try, because it's only me out there. So if I lose, it's because of me. If I win, yay me.
Yeah.
You know, it just so happened that's where I met some of the best friends that I still have to this
Did you
day.
do all 4 years?
I did. Yep.
Man.
Yeah.
You're being humble. You could probably take somebody down to the ground.
Man, I'll tell you how much it's bailed me out of fights.
Yeah.
You know, just being able to, and again, I'm not some like tough dude, but it's like when shit would hit the fan, it would just kick in.
Yeah.
You know, like if I was being attacked, shooting on the legs, take them down, control them. Yeah. You know, it bailed me out of getting beat up so many times.
No, it's true. The average person, I hear it all. And when I was young, I think I would fall for it sometimes. But the average person really doesn't know how they can just get their ass kicked so bad. You know, like had guys come into the gym, super tattoos on their face,
just
big
all
muscle, chest out.
Yep.
And I'd be thinking like, oh man, I got to go with this guy.
Yeah.
And then we'll start sparring and I'd be like, oh, this dude's a freaking pussy. Like I'm about to beat the shit out of this guy.
Yeah.
So it's just, when you have that skill, it really helps a lot.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Do you ever collect anything besides wrestling?
A little bit. I'm a big Iron Man fan.
Oh.
So I have a collection of Iron Man toys and figures and stuff. And I'm a big TMNT guy, and I keep over here seeing this Turtles in Time Machine. I'm like, damn, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I also collect them. Like more specifically Raph, that's my guy, because he was like crude but rude, right? And I recently dove into the NECA line of the movie Turtles.
Oh.
Yeah, and they just look like they literally walked off the screen. They look that good. So I'm like, do I need them? No, but am I going to stop spending your money on stupid shit?
Not
Here we
happen.
go. No. It's like, yeah, but I got a deal on them.
You ever see anime figurines?
Sometimes, yeah.
So my daughter has a huge collection.
Really?
Because I was kind of collecting them through her.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I got you a
slick.
new one. Check this new one that I
Yeah.
got you. And I was thinking like I'm gonna ask him and I'm gonna start showing him some.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna leave here and be like, I gotta get this new one. Do you ever watch anime before?
I've seen Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, everybody.
Yeah, that was like, because it was just badass.
Yeah, it was.
Pokemon as well. I was super into for a while, the show, the cards, all that, the game. But other than that, I'm not too familiar with it. I have some pals that are super into it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see this guy right here? He's one of my favorite characters.
Who's this guy?
His name's Escudor. He's from the Seven Deadly Sins. Kind of fell
He looks
off.
like he is.
So he's basically in the daytime, he's a little, he looks like this.
Yeah.
And in the nighttime, he looks like a little skinny,
Oh, interesting.
weak guy. So he has the power of the sun.
That's
So
interesting.
when
That's
he-
kind of a cool
when
story.
So when he first comes out, like he's in the nighttime and there's this demon comes in, he's like telling him, you hit me and we're gonna hit each other, and the first one to die loses.
Oh wow!
And he's like in a skinny form, so he's like the demon's like messing with him, and the demon hits him one time and knocks him out.
Oh man!
And then he starts drinking, waiting for him to wake up. But when he wakes up is when the sun comes up.
Oh no, it's over.
So he's like takes that axe he's holding right there. That demon grabs it, and he's
it's like the sun on the axe, right?
Yeah,
a little bit.
He's like the demon grabs, and he's like, "This is the biggest two-handed axe that I've ever seen, and this is stupid." And he changes and he grabs it and he goes, "That's because it's a one-handed axe."
Oh man!
And he takes the axe and that demon takes off running. Now he takes off running.
Oh,
he's
okay.
like, "No, fuck that.
I'm done."
Yeah, I'm done.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you should check that one out. But I was
Sounds
just
cool.
I thought I'd put that in your ear when I was thinking about planting those seeds, so you could start buying more stupid shit.
Oh jeez, man. Yeah, it's a tough balance. It is, especially like you want to be responsible. But it's, but at the same time, the weird thing about it is before I got into this hobby of collecting these WWE Mattel toys, like I was kind of bummed out to be here. Like I didn't want to necessarily be in Denver. I was only here because of this job. And I was kind of like leaving most of my stuff packed to kind of see like, all right, what town am I off to next? Like there's a saying of, bloom where you're planted, but I hadn't learned that yet. I was just trying to get to the next town.
I get you.
To the next town. And when I stumbled into this hobby, I started meeting all different kinds of people and different walks of life that were into different kind of things. And I was like, wow, I kind of like this. I like it here now. I get a thing that I'm into that's not work related.
Yeah.
And I get to make fun things out of it and meet cool people like you. And it really, at the end of the day, it's just plastic toys, but there's like a nostalgia factor attached to them, know?
Yeah.
And then the people you meet along the way make it all worth it. Like meeting up and going out on the hunt with this person and trying to find this new thing that came out. And damn it, I got street dated at Target. They wouldn't let me buy it. Like all these different things that happen.
Yeah. I noticed, which is coming into the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, but your friend, he has a sports card shop. Is it a sports card shop?
Yeah, my buddy Dave.
So I love sports cards.
Do you?
Yeah, I was going to tell you, give me, I want to go check out. I want to go show he just opened, right?
Yep.
So I want to show my support.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So when we get done, send me his address and I'm going to go down there and buy something from him.
Oh, he'll be so cool. Dude.
Yeah, because I thought I was watching, which is the next thing I want to talk about is your podcast.
Yes.
I want to promote it a little bit because it's pretty cool. I was enjoying it.
Thank you.
Just started the second season.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was enjoying it, but I lost what I was saying. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you first about Dave. I've been best friends with Dave.
Yes,
since
that's why I wanted
6th grade,
to go back.
Right.
Yes. Uh-huh.
King Middle School. We both had bowl cuts. Right. I've been best friends with Dave since then. That was like 25, 26 years ago. Not to tell you how old I necessarily am, but Dave and I always had, whether it was with my music at first or DJing or even radio, I've always been kind of the audio guy and Dave's always been video guy. So together we're the AV club. Right. And I'm able to teach him things about audio, and he's taught me so much about visuals and lighting and camera gear and all that kind of stuff. And when we kind of bring our powers together, we create this podcast weekly called Hanging with Homie. And Dave patches in from back in Maine, and I'm here at home.
Oh, he's in Maine.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was in Denver.
No. So you're going to have to catch a flight out there.
I could order something from him.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we did last year we did 39 episodes. Dave had a really bad health scare where he was bitten by a tick and caught Lyme disease.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was pretty rocky there for a little while. It was really scary. But he recovered full strength. Yeah, everything is fine now.
Wow, from a tick bite.
Yeah, in Maine. Yep, ticks are everywhere.
Fuck with them Maine ticks.
No, dude, don't. Because it's just, they're everywhere. And again, for us in Maine, it's like, oh, we get a tick, we rip it off, and then you take the old Bic, and it pops, which is the fun of it.
Yeah.
But then you also got to like check for your pets and stuff because they can get ticks on them as well.
Oh yeah.
So, but it was just such a normal thing, and that one that bit him that day just happened to be carrying that. And, it was scary, dude. He was in the hospital for a while.
Wow.
And, but yeah, we decided, we have these talks on the phone every week, that's how we kind of keep up. What if we like rolled film on it?
So y'all were already just calling each other weekly and
just talking all the time because again, I'm out here. At the time I didn't have many pals. I still don't, I have some people that I know for sure. But not like a best friend like Dave, like that's rare to be able to have a friend that long.
Oh, so rare.
So we're just talking and we're like, hey, what's going to be our next thing? Because Dave would help me. He would create music videos for me. I launched this whole prom tour while I was DJing. It was called the Shut Up and Party Prom Tour. And I would go to all the schools and he would film it. And we would put out this like weekly thing. And then once I got into what I do now, he would help me capture that and figure out, like a lot of the stuff he did for me really helped get me to the next tier. And we're kind of like, what's going to be our next thing? What are we going to do? We don't live near each other anymore. And I'm like, well, we both have this gear. We both have these mics. I just need a camera and we can hop on Zoom, both capture our stuff, our video and audio internally, and then upload it. And you can edit it together. And that's how our show is made every week. And we just started season 2, hanging with homie.
I've thought about doing interviews like that, but it's my podcast is a little bit different and it's kind of personal.
Yeah.
And I like to sit down with people. And
no, I hear you. Yeah. It's not the same.
It's not the same.
No.
I mean, you're telling me about your parents and about growing up in the mean streets of Portland, Maine.
Mean streets of P-Town, baby. Ask for directions and get a beat down.
Watch out for them ticks, though. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. It's been fun, man, doing this show with Dave. It's another creative outlet for me. Like I told you, I love to just make stuff. And if I don't have something like that on my day, I'm like, damn, this day kind of sucks. I want to make something today. What am I going to do today?
Right.
And Dave and I are going to record here tomorrow and catch up. And I think episode 2 is going to be about getting surgery on my back, which was a weird experience.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, the back surgery, man. For a few years now, I've had a bulging disc in my L5 S1. And it's gotten to the point where the disc is like a donut that's completely been run over.
Oh, crap.
Right? So it's like bone on bone. And I dealt with that pain every day for over 3 years. And the reason I did that is because my girlfriend is very like, no, natural healing, natural. Everything has to be natural, And I was like, I tried everything natural.
Yeah, my back freaking hurts.
Yeah, as possible. And I gained a ton of weight because I couldn't work out. I couldn't move. And ultimately, I got this procedure called nerve ablation, where I got these 2 inserts on my back. They're small though, and they basically go in and then they turn the corner and they drill into your spine. And then once they get to the middle, that's where your nerves are. Ooh. So then they send in this like electrode, this like wire almost, and it burns the nerves dead.
Shit.
So then my brain doesn't know that it hurts.
So you just don't have, is it numb?
It's a very strange feeling right now. It's like, it's there, but it's not like taking away my legs, which it does, or it had before. Like I could just be on a walk and my legs would just give out.
Just tricking your brain.
Yeah. So the way that I kind of looked at it, and this is why I was kind of against it at first. I go, you're telling me if I'm driving down the street with a flat tire and you just cut the cord so I don't see that I have a flat tire in my dash, I still have a flat tire.
Yeah.
We're not mechanically fixing anything here. Yeah. We're just pretending a problem doesn't exist. We're sweeping it under the old rug.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, your other option is you can do spinal fusion, right? Because you're not eligible for a fake disc because there's no space left.
So whether they just fuse them back together?
Yeah, so they use these screws and these bolts, and they basically fuse those two bones because the disc is gone. They fuse those bones, and then they kind of just become one joint over time. And my body is already headed that way because the disc is so gone itself that it can't get worse. So once I get older, it probably won't be for years and years, but ultimately these bones are already starting to fuse themselves together.
So you're like, just fuck it, go
yeah, just I don't want to feel it no more. I want to get back in the gym. I want to get back to where I was. I want to like live a life without being in pain every day. It's like this. It was like every single. Yeah, it's the worst, bro.
Oh, back pain's back pain's a bitch.
It was a strange, thing. I had never been under anesthesia before. That was a trip because the last thing I remember saying to the anesthesiologist, they're like, "All right, Mr. Jeff, we want you to count back from 10." I was like, wait a second. Thank you for being so nice to me. I'm so messed up. And they're like, yeah, of course, man. And then next thing I know, I like wake up and the surgery's over.
Just a blink of an eye.
Yeah. And I'm like, what, where am I? What happened?
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. And I'll tell you, one of the strange effects of it was once the like anesthesia and all the like pain meds started to like come out of me over the next week or so, man, it messed with my mind so much.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It was like, I had never experienced it before, so I didn't know it was coming. But what I learned from my doctors after, I was like, all of a sudden one day I was crying uncontrollably.
Oh, wow.
And I wasn't sad about nothing.
You're like, why am I crying?
Yeah. Like, you could have said that it was a, beautiful day outside and I would have cried about it. I just couldn't control myself. Wow. And I learned that was the anesthesia and the pain meds and everything releasing from me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right? It was so bizarre. Like if you remember as a kid, like hyperventilating, crying. Oh yeah. It was the worst.
What are you thinking to yourself? Like, what is going on?
I'm like, what is wrong with me? Everything is fine. Like I'm now on the road to recovery. Yeah, what am I sad about?
What the hell?
But I just can't stop. I don't know. It was so bizarre, dude.
That is very bizarre, but I guess it has to do with all those chemicals and stuff.
It's weird stuff in your mind and chemicals in your body that, really aren't supposed to be there.
That is weird. All right, back at you from our break. So you was telling me about your surgery.
Yeah, back surgery, man. Wild experience. I feel like I finally turned the corner to where the last few weeks I've been back in the gym. I've been like really pushing myself, how far I can go. Just got back with my personal trainer as well. So my goal, and I want to put it out there for the world, before I turn 38 in July, is to try to lose the weight that I've added since I hurt my back.
Do you have a number?
Well, let's see, man. I'm pushing like 240 right now, which is too heavy for me.
You don't look like really heavy set.
I think it's all the black. it's all just an illusion, bro. But yeah, I think I want to drop like 20 pounds, and now like I'll feel good about that. I already feel better about myself just being in like the mental headspace of getting to the gym, 3-4 times a week and really going hard and not just like goofing off on whatever this thing's called, where you're. Elliptical, I guess.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. This.
Yeah, but you're like, oh, I'm doing something.
Is that really what exercise you?
What's that?
I've done that for like 30 minutes one day, and I didn't even start sweating.
No,
I think I did it wrong or something.
I think it's just for people that are like, yeah, I was here today. Look,
what exercises do you do?
Man, I'm with a trainer right now, and we're working on a lot of different core stuff currently. And the core is what's going to really support my back, of course. So that's a lot of the main focus right now. Instead of doing like individual, today we're going to do back and bis, or we're going to do chest and tries, or we're going to do legs. It's more full body, but with like a core focus. Yeah.
You know how you could lose a lot of weight? I don't know how it would work out with your back surgery. But jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
like formal jiu-jitsu, like with the gi, you'll lose so much because that gi is
Yeah.
hot.
Is it?
And you're grappling and you're
Man.
exercising. You could do like a light grapple because you're back. Because
Yeah.
I met a few guys, but when I was start jiu-jitsu, man, I know I lost 10 pounds my first week. Easy.
Really?
Dude.
Wow.
And you work every muscle. You go home sore as shit, dude. Like, because it's like wrestling.
I
you
believe
know?
it, yeah.
You're moving every muscle, and
Wrestling, I miss it, man. Yeah, that was just the best.
that's good working out too.
Oh, yeah.
You go home sore as shit, I bet.
Some days, yeah. And yeah, wrestling was just so cool, man. It was just, it was so funny because I recall when I first went out for the team in 7th grade, the coach, his first thing was, I know a lot of you are probably wondering, where are the ropes? It's like, yeah, where are the ropes?
I thought we were gonna bounce on the
Yeah, I
ropes.
thought
Huh?
this was going to be like, Monday Night Raw, bro. And then you start to really love the craft and respect the physicality of it and the competitiveness. And just, if you're a wrestler in high school right now, never lose to a guy named Merlin. Because your friends will never let you
Did you
hear the
lose
end
to
of
a
it.
guy named
Yes.
Merlin?
Merlin from Deering High. He was so sweaty that when I tried to throw him to get the points, he just slipped out and landed behind me and got the 2 and won the match. And they're like, oh, bro, you lost to Merlin, bro, wizard,
He
bro.
was slippery as shit.
Yeah, but that's just, those are your pals for you at that
Have you ever
age.
seen a dodgeball?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember the part where he jumps and he hits the guy's face and it's all sweaty? And
Oh,
he's
I
like,
think you're thinking of Along Came Polly.
is that what that
I
is?
just watched that
where
recently.
like he hits the face and it, yeah. Okay, that movie.
Yep.
So one time I was grappling, and when you cage fight, you don't grapple, you don't do your jiu-jitsu in a gi.
No.
You just wear your fight gear.
Right.
And so I was grappling with a friend of mine, and he's really hairy. And this dude, he got so sweaty that day. So we were grappling, bro. And like he got me, like we were in this weird position that my face was like on his, and it was like that movie just, and like when I got about here, I went tap, and he goes tap, and I was like,
You got me,
I was
dog.
like, bro, I can't do it, dog. I just. He was walking around like, yeah, I got Chris.
Got him today,
Got
man.
him today. I was thinking my fucking face.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was fucking like, oh, it was so disgusting. Shout out to Raph. You know who you're talking about.
That's so funny,
He
bro.
was so hairy.
Yeah.
So my next question, I have 2 questions, last questions
Okay.
for you. All right. For the first one,
Yep.
we got to make a good reel.
Okay.
Tell me your best growing up story.
Man, my best growing up story. I can tell you a pretty wild one where
Okay.
I nearly got taken down by the Portland police.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's wild.
Yes. I'm a young kid, probably no older than eight or 9. And we're all out playing Manhunt because before iPads were around, believe it or not, that's what us kids did. We went out
And played.
at night, played Manhunt, hide and go seek, that kind of stuff. On this particular night, we decided to play with squirt guns, right? So if we saw our buddy hiding, we'd get him with the squirt gun. And I remember we're all of us are out. My sister, the neighbor kids, everybody. And obviously one of the things I said was, get down or I'll shoot, right? Because I was going to get him with the
Squirt gun.
water gun. Somebody called the police.
Oh, wow.
Said that there were people out here threatening to shoot each other, right? So the wild thing is, one of my pals, his name was Jeff as well. He gets surrounded by 4 cops, and they all have their guns drawn on him.
Oh.
And they're like, "Put it down, kid, put it down." And he's like, "Eep, eep." And the cops were like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And they ended up rounding things up and went back. But dude, it was like we were like shitting ourselves.
Then put it down.
Put it down. Yeah, it was like it seems like it's a scene out of a movie, but I
Wow.
lived it. It was 100% real, and like I'm down on the ground with my face to the thing. My sister's hiding behind my mother. It was just wild. So I don't know why, but that's the one that immediately came to mind.
I have almost the exact same thing happen.
No, I hope not.
Remember in the beginning when I said this platform is so that people could realize we're not that much different?
Yeah.
So the first time I went to jail, similar situation.
Wow.
My dad is driving through, I think, Tennessee or somewhere, and he stops and buys firecrackers, and he brings them down South Texas. Mm-hmm. So I have these M80s.
Yep.
So I'm popping these M80s, and I'm throwing them at kids at the park.
Oh, no. Those will take your hands off, dude.
So I'm throwing them at these kids. I was probably like 9.
Yeah.
Throwing these firecrackers. I see these cops just start pulling all around me, man. I was like,
Put the M80s down.
so I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. So I take all the M80s and I throw them underneath. Remember the tether ball with the tire?
Yeah.
And the pole, tether ball pole? I lean it over and I put them underneath the tether ball pole.
That's kind of smart.
But cops see me doing this.
No.
So
Bro.
they come in when I'm down there. I'm at the tether bar doing this. They just pull in and they pull out their guns. Just like you.
Yep.
They put, get on the ground. What are you doing? Down on the ground. I was like,
He's hiding the gun.
And they're like, well, you put the gun down and this and that. And I was just like, I got on the ground and they're like, firecrackers.
Yeah.
Where'd you get these damn firecrackers?
Yeah, these are illegal here.
What are you doing?
Yep.
And then I went to jail.
Man.
And when I came out, they kept asking me, where'd you get him? I don't know. I didn't get him. Like, found him.
Found him out here.
Yeah, my dad come out. My dad took me. It's probably not the best, parenting in the world, but he was like, you get a Happy Meal. You didn't tell on me.
Yeah.
You didn't tell on
My son ain't no snitch.
My son ain't no snitch. He took me to get a Happy Meal.
That's so funny, bro.
So my first experience in jail ended with a Happy Meal.
Hey. I mean, it could have ended a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have ended I could have been shot for sure.
Jeez, that's crazy, man. Just like the things we used to do. I mean, I just look at like the 90s and just all the wild fun and like, I don't know, man. Like people used to actually go outside.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Little kids outside playing.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, it used to be like, remember playing football in the street? Game on.
Yep.
Here comes the car. Game on.
It's that damn Camry again.
Yeah.
Come on, hurry up.
Yeah.
It's 4th down. Right?
What's going on with these people?
I don't know, man.
I was talking about this, not to drag on, but with another guy on a podcast that I had. I think it was like episode 16. You might be old enough. Do you remember the commercials that came out? It's 10 o'clock. Do you know who your children are?
I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I can remember when curfew first came out. I can remember watching the news. And we're coming out with a curfew. Teenagers seem to be in the streets too long and all this stuff. And you got to be at the house by 12 o'clock and this and that. I can remember all of that.
Man.
But nowadays, do they even need one?
No. If anything, there should be like a city mandate where it's like, okay, this hour's your outdoors time.
Yeah, exact opposite, right?
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock. Kick your kids the hell out the house.
Yeah. You couldn't get us back.
Yeah.
There would be days where I would literally be gone for days.
Yeah. We weren't allowed to be in the house. I wasn't. This is my dad. Hey, y'all want to go outside? Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Boom. Close the door behind us.
You did same. Yep, get your ass out.
You ain't coming inside.
Yeah, and we would just make up our own fun.
You thirsty? Get the water hose. Drink out the water hose.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't be the first drink. You gotta let it run about 10 seconds.
Yeah, let it go a little bit because you don't know what's in there.
Because it would be a big line. Usually, I'd get in the back like third or fourth.
Yeah, they're playing it safe. No doubt, man.
Get that rubber taste.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, so these younger people listen. So I think the age group for our podcast is 25 through 34, whatever it is. So the people in that age group, they're not even know what.
They're like, what are you talking about?
What the fuck are you drinking out the water hose? What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, no, for real. And that's like, our demographic from my radio show was like that 26-year-old girl who would have no idea so it's like refreshing to be able to like talk with somebody that knows what it was, it's cool.
So the last question is what I usually do, and I wrap this up, is I usually ask, what's your message to the world? So like we sit here for about an hour now.
Yeah.
We know you're from Maine. We're from the mean streets of Portland.
Yep.
You grew up, you overcame your stutter through music and through broadcasting. You've been in Nashville. You've had the blinders on. You grinded your way all the way up to working for the biggest broadcasting network in the world, right? we know you love wrestling figures.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We got a good feel for
Yeah,
you.
you got a good snapshot today.
You got
I
a
feel
good
like.
snapshot of you. And so with all that being said, what is your message to the world? What do you have to
message-
say to them? And
Yeah.
you say it into the camera.
Okay, my message to the world, and this is probably the easiest answer from today, is something that I've been saying since I started my broadcasting career. And I learned from my mentor, Rob Steele, that every radio jock has to have their own sign off, right? They have to have that catchphrase when they finish their show. And mine has always been, since I can remember, is it's cool to be you. And I always tried to preach that on the air every time I would sign off. And I've been broadcasting now for 10 plus years. And every show that I've ended, it's been with, it's cool to be you. And when you're talking on the radio, it's like you're speaking to one person. You know, that's kind of the style of broadcasting. And just being able to tell that one person every time when I sign off, it's cool to be you. I hope that gives them encouragement, you know, to chase after whatever dream they're after, or get into whatever hobby they're afraid people are going to tease them for, or listen to that song that people make fun of. I just want people to know that you're unique in your own way, and your coolness, it doesn't depend on what anybody else thinks. It's cool to be you, and it's cool to be yourself.
That's true. It's very true.
Yep.
Humble beginnings.
Absolutely, brother.
It was nice talking to you, man.
Really good meeting you today.
Yeah.
And before we do roll out of here, if anybody's listening in the Denver area, I'm on the air, Hits 95.7, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Give me a call. I'd love to talk to you. You know, because I'm in that studio alone. It'd be cool to talk to you.
What about your podcast? What is the schedule? Do you have a
podcast comes out, new episode every Friday. It's on my YouTube at Fav DJ J R, or anywhere you listen to podcasts like the iHeart app or Spotify, Apple, any of that stuff. Hanging with homie.
Yeah. So I'll any links, or I'll click any kind of links into the description.
Thank you.
Plus including your YouTube channel and IG.
Dude, I appreciate it.
Check out my boy, which, as like I said, if you're local, you've probably checked him out already. You just, now you got a face.
Yeah.
You got
Sorry to disappoint.
But it was nice talking to you. Thank you for coming in and sitting down with me. A lot of people, like I said, it's a very personal podcast, so
Right.
some people don't want to share.
Yeah.
But if you're not, if you're not hiding nothing in life,
No.
then you could just come right in here.
Yeah, I may have sent a text with a pin where I'm like, hey, if you don't hear from me in 2 hours, send the police, because I don't know this cat.
I'm really particular about there's a lot of talented people on here, and I'll go ahead and say this for the people: if you want to come in on the podcast and you're shooting a video and you have a ski mask on your video,
Yeah.
you ain't getting called for me. I ain't calling you. I'm sorry.
Maybe not. Maybe
If the
not.
first line of your song is "I shot a motherfucker,"
Yeah.
then you ain't coming in here, motherfucker. You know? That's
Perhaps somewhere else.
But this show is, like I said, is for the people. It's for us all to just kind of see who we each other are. We get nowadays there's so much division, and it really, when I was growing up, there was a lot of division.
Yeah.
But I think the world has changed so much that it's not there, and I think people are just putting it there.
Yeah.
So if we just stop and just listen to each other, like you being from Portland, Maine, I almost guarantee you that there was somebody in Los Angeles, California, on the other side of the damn country who was like, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
You know?
It's strange, man.
It's
know,
strange.
it is strange. And I've actually met people that are had parallel experiences to me and my friends, and they were just doing it in a completely different place, but
Yeah.
kind of doing the same thing. It's just the world is a weird place.
Yeah. We got to stop and listen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's just stop, listen, enjoy one another. Let's all be together. Maybe I'm going to sound like a hippie right now, but let's all just be together. Make sure you make sure you subscribe, make sure you're following the channel. Check out my boy on Instagram. Make sure you click out all the links. Make sure you follow. And I'm out. Laters.